What is going on, everyone? Back with another video. So today is going to be another quick preview vid, as I've been doing these a lot lately, on the Kirby Lambert Inferno. This is my newest acquisition, and man, I gotta say, his reputation precedes him. His work is impeccable. Love it. First impressions are, I picked this knife up and I said, man, this has got to be one of the most ergonomic knife I've ever held on to. And as you can see on the table, I also have the Marco Shockwave. Now, the funny thing is, when you look at both these knives, it's almost like if you were looking at it from the show side, and if you did not know that Marco put this knife out, you sort of got it was a real Lambert, but obviously this is not. And, you know, the messed up thing is, too, is that the Marco actually has slightly better ergonomics than the Inferno does. So the only problem is the lockup is not great on this one. It has a little bit of up and down play. And I noticed that the liner lock is a little bit weaker than this. And that's the other thing I noticed about the Inferno as well from Lambert's work here, is liner lock is incredibly strong. Listen to this thing. All right, now listen to this. I mean, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but it does not sound the same whatsoever. But it rockets out. This thing does not rocket out at all. I mean, at least not with without a wrist flick. I still can't do it. But the thing is, both knives are pretty much perfectly centered. Amazing for a $50 knife that the Shockwave is like perfectly centered and has very good action on it. Still pales in comparison to the real thing, of course. And guys, look at this. Awesome ground blade here. It's impeccable. Gotta love the Kirby Lambert logo on there with the spider. Just beautiful. Now this is the slightly more budget model, budget if you can call it that, with just G10 handles. It's got the tan G10 bolsters and also the OD green scales on here. And the one thing you notice is that, one thing I noticed, is that there is literally like no, if you have to really feel it to actually feel the seams between the bolster and scales. He does just really good work. And this thing is massively sharp. I've had this thing for about 3 or 4 days now, and I've used it a few times, and it is, this thing just slides through cardboard and everything else that you can think of, just like butter. Well, not everything. It's not going to slice through metal, but it is a very sharp knife, nonetheless. Got bead blasted titanium liners on there, standoffs, as you can see, nice flow through design. You can clean it out easily if you need to. And this, of course, is going to be my new EDC. It's going to be my new workhorse, and I will be carrying it, using it, and I'll probably come back with a full review later. But again, this is just a quick preview of what this knife is and my new acquisition. I placed the Hinder and the Semenza out here just because I can. I needed some knives to fill up the screen here. But I cannot get over how smooth this thing is. Now, when I first got this, the knife would not open. When I say not open, it means it would not fly open. The reason being is that for some reason, the last person who owned this knife did not oil it, maintain it, keep it clean, whatever. But grudgingly, I really hated to do this. I had to take the knife down because I didn't want to lose the perfect centering. In fact, I kind of lost a little bit of the perfect centering that it came with, and but it wasn't smooth at all. Every single time I went to close the knife, it started dragging around here. You can see it go like this. It just did not feel like it wanted to go. So I took it down, and lo and behold, just like my Hinder when I got it new. Well, Tinder wasn't new, but when I got it, this was marketed as a brand new knife. It seems like they said that it was never carried, never used. The pivot, the washers were completely void of oil. Seriously, there's no lubrication on this knife, just the same as the Hinder. It was just bone flipping dry. So I went ahead and I took it down, and it took me several hours and several attempts to do it, but I finally got the knife back together where the blade is somewhat centered. It is still not perfect, but I can live with this. But now, it flies out. No blade play, absolutely no rock at all. The lockup is solid, and in fact, it's a little bit hard to disengage because you can see the lock bar is like just flush with the handle scales here. It's just really hard. You have to really dig in. And the fact that Kirby actually kind of, I see kind of widened out the lock there a little bit, and which is nice, but it's really hard to get your finger right in here. I have to actually use this top part here. I put my thumb actually on this top part to disengage instead, because it's a little bit easier to grab onto. But man, I love that. Rock solid lockup on this thing. This is just amazing. But and uber smooth now that I got some real oil back into it. Some really, really lubricate the washers there a little bit. Alright, so I rambled on long enough. So here it is, just the first quick glimpse of my newest acquisition, the Kirby Lambert Inferno. If I had my choice, if I can find another one, I probably would go for, the Hooligan. I really like the design of that. If I can find a Hooligan, I'd probably buy it if it's at the right price. And eventually, maybe I'll get like a dress version, some kind of dress version of a Kirby Lambert, hopefully, in sometime in the future. So, anyways, questions, comments, please leave it below. Aside from that, take care, have a great day, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.